Hey everyone, I'm Anna Marback. I'm a coach, a teacher, and a hypnotherapist.
And I'm Sarah Yakowanis, and I am an artist and a designer of particularly powerful journals.
And we're here. This is Metaphysical Confidential. And today we're going to be talking about Sarah's incredible moon magic. And, I've been hearing about Sarah's moon magic for over a year now. I know it is so powerful and that she's used it to manifest so many incredible things. And actually, I used it to manifest as well. So I am so excited to share it with you and hear more about Sarah. So Sarah, yes, tell us, what even is moon magic? Tell us about it.
So moon magic, I like to think of moon magic as we're not particularly like using the moon to the moon is more of like a natural timekeeper. Like it's just a really perfect way to block out a month. And it's quite often it doesn't fall right on the month, which is can be kind of confusing. But if you have just moongiant.com is a really good resource to find out what phase of the moon, because I've been following the moon every day for probably 6 years at this point. And I roughly will know what the phase is, but I never 100% know. So going to moongiant.com is really awesome because they always have the phase of the moon. But really, what I like to think of is the moon, you set your intention, and it's a really powerful process because as the moon, the light grows in the moon's face, like that's the power of your intention growing. It's your intention manifesting. And so the waxing phase is all about growing that. And then the waning phase is after the full moon. So the new moon to the full moon is the waxing phase, or like the waxing phases. And then new moon or full moon to new moon is all about waning. And that's a lot about shadow work because the shadow is growing again. So the waxing is the light is growing, and then the waning is the shadow is growing. And it's a great time to like release and let go and just let, the balancing nature of the moon just really is awesome in that way, because there's kind of equal time between the new moon and the full moon and the full moon and the next new moon, which is just so wonderful. So I actually designed this journal, which we'll have links for in wherever you're listening to this or watching it. But it's called the Moon Manifestation Workbook. And I just thought it could be cute to like kind of go through how exactly I set my intention and how powerful a process it is. So the most important part of an intention is to make it really rooted in feelings, because I like to say if you can feel it, you can reel it. So it's really important. So you can pick any aspect of your life that you need, that you want improvement on. So it can be anything. But just one at a time, because one of the nice things about the moon is there's always going to be another moon cycle. So I like to do, kind of think about what I want to manifest and how that manifestation is going to make me feel. And then to really get it pinpointed, I look up those feelings in the thesaurus to make sure there's nothing else that's like even more articulate. And so then you let's see. So this is one just from a couple of months ago, which is the one that I randomly opened to, which I feel like is cute. But my new moon for intention for that phase was I am pioneering on the leading edge of creation as I gleefully cultivate the playful power to design my reality. Because that's kind of what my overarching intention is for this whole year, is to like be a really active co-creator in the design of my reality. So that's like, you know, let's see. And then you just kind of like, for the, you know, every day after you set your intention. So on the new moon, you set your intention, and every day after the new moon until the full moon, and then you can let it kind of drop off naturally as you see it, you sit with your intention. And that's something I've learned from a book called Lunar Abundance by Izzy Spencer. And a lot of this moon practice is kind of like rhymes with it, at least, because if you have any practice, you do it the way they tell you to at first, and then you let it become your own. Which I feel like a lot of this podcast is going to be about, giving people permission to take a practice and then make it their own. Because I feel like people are waiting for that permission.
Yes, please do it yourself. Please do it your own way, right? And then
right?
You experiment every day, every week, every month, every year. And then eventually you come up with something entirely new that is original to you.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like that exact thing is how my moon practice has like evolved over time, over the 6 years that I've been doing it. But every day you sit with your intention, which is just 10 minutes. You like sit down, you meditate. I like to feel into my body, because that really like somatic practice of like being in your body helps the manifestation come so much quicker, because you're really feeling it. It's not an intellectual endeavor, it's a feeling place, and that's where the magic is. All of our magic is in our bodies, but we like to think of like us just being in our minds, but that's not it at all. That's not where the magic is. That's where the ideas maybe come from, but the magic comes from the body. So you sit down and you feel into your body, you drop down, you quiet your mind, and then you just repeat your intention a few times and really try to feel it as much as you can. And then 10-15 minutes a day, it doesn't take very long at all, to really make that change happen. Like, it's like, that's kind of the beautiful part about the moon practice, is that it doesn't take very long, but it's so powerful, and it manifests just shockingly well.
I mean, it's 1 month. It's like, it's 1 month to change your life. One moon.
Yeah, exactly. And you just take like a little like slivers of what you want to change. So like, you know, relationship wise, or money wise, or career, or creative endeavor. Like, you just take a little slice. And homes, I think I'm the best at manifesting like places to live. Or that's at least the ones that maybe I had the least resistance to, so they always come very quickly.
Yes, absolutely. That's something I was really curious about. I was like, what is like one specific thing that you manifested with a moon magic wish?
I would say, I think it was probably beginner's luck, because it was my very first cycle. I had just gotten lunar intention. My husband got it for me for a birthday gift, specifically because I asked for it, or like, yeah, like it's like, give me this book for my birthday, and he did. And so like, it was my first moon cycle, working with it, but it was shocking. Like, my intention was to sell the house that we were in, because we wanted to like sell our house in Green, Maine, and move to the West Coast. And we needed the house to sell for like a pretty decent amount of money to pay for that. And so it was the first moon cycle that I worked with. Everything about it was like kind of like a monumental task to get this kind of shabby house in sellable condition. And like, it had like some things that were like, you know, like some real obstacles. Like we just like were much easier because we had been working on the house for a while. But then this moon cycle, it was like all the obstacles that had taken like forever just got solved like so quickly. Like we had this fan that like inexplicably was like 20 feet. It was like a big loft kind of area, and it was like it had never been cleaned because nobody could figure out how to clean it. So it had been like since the 80s. It had like, it was the most disgusting thing in the entire universe. That we finally got a guy to come and clean it. Like it was like this electrician that like just needed some extra money for his honeymoon, and so he put like an ad on, I feel like Craigslist, because it was like a while ago when you could like hire people on Craigslist. I don't even know if like that's a thing anymore.
I don't know. I recently read an article on like on Travel and Leisure, which to be honest made me unfollow them because I thought it was the most asinine article that said you wouldn't believe how this woman got scammed out of $20,000. And yes, I clicked on that headline. I did. Yeah. Clickbaiting, I clicked on it. And you know what? She tried to rent a house in, Park City, Utah for $10,000 a month, like a 5-bedroom house for $10,000 a month. And she did so through Craigslist. She gave a guy $20,000 on Craigslist to rent this house.
That's crazy.
Like, okay, like
that's on her
here. I know it's on her. This isn't like, I mean, and you don't want anybody to get scammed. Of course, I don't want anybody to get scammed, but I would never give someone $20,000 that I just communicated with on the internet through Craigslist.
Yeah,
we all know that's a scam at this point,
right?
Like go to Airbnb. And also when I checked the Airbnb prices for Park City, I mean, she was like getting a 5-bedroom house, it was like $15,000 minimum a month.
Oh, I bet.
She was like trying to get a deal through Craigslist, and I'm just like, no, you're getting scammed.
Right.
The point is that's a while ago in the internet. I also remember when like you could actually go on Craigslist for real things, but that is a while.
I got at least 2 apartments from Craigslist, like way back in the aughts when like that was like a thing you could do.
Yeah, electrician offering to apparently be paid money for random jobs. Yes.
Right?
That happened back then. Yeah. Anyway.
Okay, so everything got all buttoned up, just so cute. It was like a genuinely like, we were like, dude, the house was so nice. We were like, should we move? And then we're like, yeah, we definitely have to move because we wanted our West Coast adventure, which we're currently still enjoying. And we sold the house. The house went on the market, and we sold the house in like 12 hours. Like that's moon magic. And we got the exact amount of money because I was like, I wanted to sell it for X amount. We got exactly that amount. Everything just came together, like, and like, like the next moon cycle, we were like, had to find an apartment, because like, or maybe it was even the same moon cycle, I can't remember, but it was like the craziest thing. I set my intention to like find an apartment on the West Coast. We decided to move to Tacoma, Washington, and we were like, and Tacoma has a shady reputation, so we wanted to make sure like, how are we going to find a house but not go to Washington first, right? And on the full moon, which when you do the moon practice, you'll notice that right around the full moon, it's either right before or right after the full moon, whatever you want will probably manifest then, especially if it's like, it's just magic. It truly is. And so we had a fire pit. And so at that point, I was doing my full moon release where I would write out everything I was letting go of and releasing, and all my fears and worries and all of that. I wrote them all out. And then I took the paper and I burned it. And when I came back inside, I got a phone call from a relocation specialist based in Washington. And I was like, how did you even get this? Like she had this service where she goes to different apartments and she like will like look at all the different listings and know exactly what you want and find you like 3 apartments that you might be interested in, and then goes to them and tours them for you and gives you like a video of your tour, of the tour. And it was like just completely out of nowhere. It's not like I called her and she called me back on the full moon. It's like she called me out of nowhere. And it turns out that my real estate agent, like I had asked her to help me find like an apartment or some, like at least maybe reach out to like another real estate agent on the West Coast to like help me find it. And then she ended up being the one who did it. But like, I had no idea about that. I did nothing for that. Like, I just got a call from this woman that completely made moving out here so much less scary, because now we knew like what it was going to look like. We knew that it wasn't a scam. We knew that it wasn't going to be like Mold City, you know, like we knew that it wasn't in a shady neighborhood, you know.
Absolutely. Well, that's the thing. Like, that's the thing when sometimes I explain like my magical results to people too. Sometimes they're like, oh, but that happened in real life. I'm like, no, but it felt like magic though. Like it felt like a synchronicity. It felt like I didn't put any extra effort into it. The timing, you know, for me, it's that moment where it's like, this is magic. This is a synchronicity. And you can feel that in your soul. You can feel that like in your heart or in your inner being where you're like,
in your
this is the magic.
bones. You can, it's like your bones are vibrating. Like, this is what you wanted.
Exactly.
Here, my darling human.
I know. I just had a manifestation like that yesterday where I did a wealth ritual, and this wasn't even the intention of the ritual actually, but I had included a line at the end that something was like, please bring me greater wealth and prosperity or something. I don't remember exactly, you know, because I just figured like that was to add to the specific intention. And then the next day, and it's like, yes, I'm the one who like physically took these actions, but you know, I opened a new American Express card a couple months ago, and I was like, ooh, I really want to make sure that I spend the, you know, threshold amount, like you have to spend $5,000 in the first 3 months in order to receive 100,000 Delta Sky miles. And I was like, I want those miles, right? Yeah. But
you will use those miles.
I'm definitely gonna use those miles. Yes. I'm like, that's like with the miles I already have, like I have like 36,000 miles already. I'm like, that's 2 international flights. So I'm gonna use that. Yeah. And you know, and then I texted them and they were like, oh, you have until August 28th to do that. And it's August 26th today. And I was like, what? Oh my God, I better like, I was like, Mom, are we going to spend money on anything? Can you spend some money on my card, please? And so I got a flight on my card so that I could just get the extra, like, because it was like I needed to spend $480, which I mean, I would have done too. Like I would have figured out how to spend that. Obviously, I think I could spend some money, but at the same time, it might as well be something that we actually knew we wanted. And then on the same day, I had been waiting on my new mortgage documents and they hadn't arrived. And I was like, oh my God, how am I going to pay my mortgage? Like, I don't know who to pay it to, or I don't even know how much money to pay them. Like, I need those documents. And, you know, I have closed the house on August 1st. So again, it's August 26th. I was like, it's a little while since the closing date. Where are those documents? And I received them yesterday too. And so that felt like these two instances of like wealth where it really felt magic, even though, yes, I was the one who contacted American Express and I was also the one who checked my email, but still, like, having done the wealth ritual and then having these two very obvious money things come up, it's like, that's magic. Yeah,
definitely.
So yeah, shall I talk about my moon magic manifestation?
Yes, I would love to hear it.
Yes, because Sarah gave me like a free version of the worksheet, which I went through, you know, and honestly, like I've done a lot of magic, I've done a lot of intention setting, I've done a lot of manifestation. And so, you know, honestly, I'm going to be super honest. As much as I love Sarah, as much as I really know that moon magic creates a lot of results, part of me was still like going through the motions a little, you know, I didn't even, so I think that is actually the incredible thing about magic. I know everyone's like, you have to believe in order to do it. And I'm like, I don't think you have to believe.
No.
I think the attitude I have with literally everything, and that's whether I love the creator or not, because obviously I love Sarah, but like the attitude I have with everything is I'm going to give it a try. I'm going to give it a sincere try, certainly. Like I wasn't like faking it or whatever. Like I wasn't putting like just like 50% in. I mean, I put a sincere try in, but it's also a try. And I'm like, if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out, and that's fine. you know? And so, so I did it. And, I was going through the feelings and I was like, okay, like I was already starting to feel a shift. I was like, okay, what are these feelings coming up? Okay, like I'm starting to tune in more and more to the desire. And eventually I came up with something, I forget exactly what it was, but it was something like, I am open to the playfulness and joy of luxury. And I receive more and more luxury every day. And then I just had this really like wonderful, luxurious time with my boyfriend where he was buying me. I mean, he actually paid for everything, but then he also like, so he was buying me like these delicious lattes. Like I keep, actually what's really coming to mind now is like this photo I took of us. Like we went to like a beautiful latte place in Copenhagen and like they put hearts on top of both the lattes. I took a picture of us holding hands, like with both the latte hearts. And I mean, that felt like luxury, or like he bought these amazing, delicious pastries that were like so fresh and, buttery and delicious. And, and he bought like, I was like, oh, can we get those desserts too? And he was like, yes. And it was just like luxury. And then actually that month too, like I'm just recalling like only, not maybe quite that month, but like about a month later, I stayed at a 5-star resort for my 30th birthday. So it was like, even though that was like kind of the next moon cycle, it still felt like this blossoming luxury just moved through my life. So it really felt like there were all these like manifestations of luxury. And like I had a whole new experience of luxury that I had never had before. And I'm starting to like feel luxury more in my body and like that feeling experience of luxury. Like what is luxury? What does it mean to me? So it definitely felt like it manifested. And like I really enjoyed even just the intention setting process, because it wasn't just like, I mean, you can just say, like just saying right now, I desire luxury. Okay, but it's like, what does that mean? And is that even compelling? Like, that's not even, to me, that's not a very compelling or interesting desire or intention, right? It's like not really going to manifest because it's just like, I desire luxury. Well, it's like, okay, well, so does everyone. And, what does that actually look like? And what would that actually even feel like? And it's not very compelling, it's not motivating, and it's not going to manifest magically. Whereas I think with Sarah's process, what's so special about it is that it takes you through even like creating that intention around that desire. So, you start with I desire the luxury, but it's like, okay, what does luxury actually mean? What does that feel like? Again, to me, it felt like joy and playfulness. What would it mean to open up to receiving more of that? And, then because I went through this whole intention setting process, I feel like I felt it more. I felt the luxury more. I noticed the luxury in my life more, small and big luxuries and everything in between. Actually, I don't really, to be honest, I don't differentiate between small and big luxuries. To me, it's all luxury. I'm like, the sip of a deliciously made tea is a luxury. It's the same luxury as a 5-star resort. It's all luxury. But still, like, it helped me notice it and appreciate it so much more. And I think that's something that's so special about moon magic.
Yeah, I love that. And I like also that something that's really true is that just because it doesn't manifest like that red hot moon cycle, your intention is like planting a seed. It takes a little bit of time to grow sometimes. So it's like always going to be working. Like, it's always going to be manifesting, even if it's not like that moon cycle. It always feels like a little extra magic, maybe if it happens within the same moon cycle, but you just have to kind of trust and believe that it's coming. Like if you do the work, it will work,
Yes, exactly. I mean, I would say Sarah has like so many great, what should we call them? Should we call them spells? Like,
yeah, probably, right?
I think they are spells, it's like if you do the work, it will work.
Little
They
charms. Little charms.
Charms is actually the best word for it. Charms is a great word. Yeah. If you do the work, it will work. That's all you need to know. If you do the work, it will work. There we go. Exactly. That's what I say, right? I'm like, if you do the work, it will work. You just got to show up. That's what I was doing, right? I'm like, I'm going to sincerely do this. You got to just sincerely show up and give it a try. It's really funny because I was actually talking to one of my dear friends, Sheena Witter, yesterday about trying, and like we were talking about the negative vibration of try, but here I'm really feeling the positive vibration of try, which I guess is the other side of it, which is like, if you're willing to like give moon magic a try, like really do it, do every exercise, like if you're willing to show up and do it, even if you don't believe in it, and I know many people do believe in it too, it's going to work. Like, that's the thing. It just works because the moon, well, so why is the moon just a source of power, whether we believe in it or not, Sarah? I think that's kind of interesting, actually.
I think that it has a lot to do with gravity in a way, because I'm sure we'll get into like, we have like podcasts in the future that is going to do a lot of like, I'm super into quantum physics, I'm super into like that kind of stuff, and I feel like, so personally, I believe that gravity is love. Like, I feel like love and joy and ease and pleasure, they're all these like undercurrent that like, every piece of matter just naturally, it's our natural state. Even like, like human beings are pretty complex bunches of matter, and it gets more confusing, but like inanimate matter, and we'll also talk about panpsychism in the future too, because that's like my other obsession, but the underlying philosophy of panpsychism is that consciousness is a inherent aspect of all matter. So whether it's alive or it's not alive, it doesn't matter. Like it's mass or it's electric charge. Like every piece of matter has it. It's just we happen to be a very complex piece of matter, and so we kind of, humans think that we're just it. But anyway, I digress. That's to say that the underlying experience of all matter is this underlying din of blissful joy, of love, this underlying din of love. And as the matter gets bigger and bigger and bigger, that love manifests itself as gravity, because it wants to keep everything close. It wants to keep everything near. It doesn't want its loves to go hurtling into the darkness of space. And so I feel like, because the moon has this gravitational pull on us, it controls our oceans and controls our water. I mean, we're 70% water, so like, of course the moon has an effect on us. It has an effect on all water. And I feel like that's its power. It's like, the moon loves us, it wants us to succeed in what we want, and so I feel like that's like more, that's my general hypothesis about why the moon has such a powerful effect on our experience, especially if we take the time to send it our desires. It will give us our desires because it wants to. It loves us.
Honestly, that's the best explanation of moon magic I've ever heard. Like, really, like, because when honestly, like, I've done other kind of like moon magic, I've read other kind of like moon magic books or whatever, and they were like, I mean, the one that I recently read was like, I don't know, it just works. Like, I don't know. She said, I don't know, but she was like, it just works, just do it. And I was like, okay, I kind of like the idea of this moon stuff, and I can tell that it's powerful. Like, you can definitely feel it. Like, whenever you try to intentionally tune to the moon, whenever you start working with the moon, you can feel it pretty instantly. And at the same time, though, there was no like, why does this work? And I'm definitely someone who's very curious and who wants to get, this is why we call it metaphysical confidential, because we like to get behind the scenes and be like, why does this work? What is happening? So yes, I found that Sarah has a lot of wisdom and like channels a lot. And that, I have to say, like, that feels so true to me. Like, it makes sense. Like, yeah, of course, gravity is love. Like, that just, you say that just makes sense to me. I don't actually need more of an explanation. You're just like, that's like something you can feel the truth of in your bones, right? Because gravity's pulling your bones down. Gravity's like, I want you, and the same with the moon. The moon has its own gravity and it's pulling into us, right? And it's made of water, and the moon has that influence over water and the tides. Maybe also I relate to it because I'm a Cancer sun and Venus conjunct. So like, yes, the moon is love, gravity is love. That makes so much sense to me. I could just feel that instantly. And yeah, of course. And also when you say like blissful joy and consciousness, that's the base of all matter. It's like, oh, that makes absolute sense to me too. Yes. Well, especially since I think sometimes when we talk about shadow work, I think shadow work is equally important. And at the same time, like, I don't know, even the shadow feels like it has underneath it just this blissful love that,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
The shadow wants you to have these experiences. Yeah, the shadow does love you. It's just that we've been trained to not love it, and it gets pissed about it.
Oh, see, that makes me like love all these shadowy things I've been feeling and thinking. It's like, which of course, I'm always trying to relate to more. It's like, yes, it just wants me to have these wonderful experiences. Wonderful its opinion. And I can just be like, I can see that this is wonderful in your opinion. So thank you.
Right? Oh, one more thing about gravity too is a cute little like meditation that I like to do is if you feel into the earth's gravity like it's the earth giving you a hug. It just feels so fucking good. So if you're ever feeling down, if you're ever feeling lonely, if you're ever feeling anything, if you just need a little bit of a recharge, just feel into the earth's gravity like it's the earth giving you a hug. And it's like the earth is always giving you a hug, and you need a hug, she's already giving it to you. It feels so fucking good.
Oh, that's amazing. Like, yeah, if you're safe right now, like if you're not driving or operating heavy machinery, you can take a moment. Like, let's all just take a moment now and just like feel into the hug of gravity. Yes.
It feels so good.
We're just so deeply loved. Well, I think that's so great, Sarah, too, because I think that that's something that can be like, let's be super honest here, like can be like some new age drivel where it's like, you are love. You are so loved. You don't even know how loved you are. And honestly, when I was first starting my journey, I was like, okay, I want to believe that. I want that to be true, and part of me knows that's true, but honestly, I don't feel that at all. And, I feel like a lot of like the really famous or whatever, like the new age authors I was reading at the time, like they don't explain how to get there, right? They don't give you the methods. Like there's no practicality to how to get there. Just like you are love. And I'm like, that's such a great message. But like, what do I do to get there? Right? Like I need to do something to get there. And I mean, to be fair, that could just be our different like manifesting styles. Like some people do manifest just like by the outcome, they're just like done. And some people need a process. I need a process. And so I love this like gravity hug. To me, that's a process that's immediately applicable. We can all access it. And it's increasing the amount of love in the world. So win, 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 win.
Oh yeah, definitely. I feel you too. Like I need a process too. And I feel like that's a lot of the things we're going to create in this podcast is like sharing our processes with people. Like, cause like, we're going to do a lot of experimenting. We have done a lot of experimenting, and we're going to share with you what we found that is the most powerful. So you guys can just do that.
I know it does not have to take as long for you to get where you are, right? Because something we've been definitely talked about a lot too is how both of us have really used personal development to create lives where it's like, for the most part, we're happy, we're thriving, we're supported, we're experiencing more and more and more of what we want. And honestly, we both see people in the personal development world who like aren't thriving as much as us. And we're like, why? When you have access to the tools, why aren't you? But we found that there are some keys that, maybe, I don't know why, just aren't obvious for some reason. And so we want to bring those keys to you so that you can really start using personal development and magic and metaphysics and, law of attraction, or, Sarah's version of law of attraction, which I can't wait to get into, or,
it's gonna be good. Yeah. I know it's like funny because we're both like still on our journeys too. Like, we're both like, I feel like because we're putting out the effort to like do this podcast now, like the universe is gonna be like, these girls will be able to tell everyone. Like, let's tell them, and then they'll tell everyone. Did you hear? They're gonna tell everyone, and then like we'll get more and more downloads, and like not like downloads for podcasts, but potentially, but like more like cosmic downloads.
That's definitely how it works too. I think that's something a lot of people too, like get wrong is like, they're like, oh, like, well, I should wait to feel it inside and then act. And it's like, no, you act and then the universe will help you feel it inside, honestly.
Yeah.
And then you act again.
And the universe trusts you then. They're
Yeah.
like, okay. Like the more you can develop that trust from the universe, the more the universe will be like, cool, I can trust you to actually do what I'm telling you to, or like, you know, I can trust you to like get to the next level, so I will let you get to the next level.
That is such an interesting point, Sarah, because I actually totally believe that too. Like, I'm not sure we've even ever talked about this before, but that is actually something I think too, which is that, like, I mean, the way I put it is like, you know, the universe needs to know that you're going to really enjoy the thing that it gives you, because otherwise, like, if the universe doesn't think you're going to actually enjoy it, the universe isn't going to give it to you.
I
You know,
love that.
right? Because I think it's like, you know, it's like, for example, and it's like, this is what I think about, like, you know, like really having the things that you enjoy. It's like, for example, like, let's say you really want a Louis Vuitton bag, but you currently have like, what would be like, just like, let's say you have like a little Coach wallet
Yeah.
that you don't really appreciate, enjoy, or take care of. Okay, well, is the universe going to give you a Louis Vuitton bag if you're not even appreciating the smaller amount of luxury? The universe just feel like, you know what, she's not going to enjoy it. Well, I'll give it to someone else. You know what I mean? Like, and that, I think, you know, and I think that's a blessing. I mean, I think the universe just wants us to experience maximum pleasure and maximum enjoyment. And honestly, like, maybe if you really got the Louis Vuitton bag, it would just feel really numb and it wouldn't actually feel super good, you know? And that's just like, and I know like most people be like, but no, it would feel good if I had the Louis Vuitton bag. And I'm like, actually, I don't know that it would. There's no guarantee, right? Or, you know, maybe you lose it out of self-sabotage, or maybe you'd scratch it, or maybe you'd spill it because you'd be like, you know, we can always be like, a part of us doesn't feel like we don't deserve it. A part of us won't really let ourselves enjoy it if we feel like we don't deserve it. You know, I mean, there's a lot of things. So it's like, how can we just start being like, and I think, yeah, saying the universe trusting us is another way of saying that. Like, how can we start being the people who the universe trusts, you know, to experience full pleasure in things and to receive new knowledge and wisdom? And that's, I think, something people don't really think about a lot. You know, maybe I think people put the authority externally to the universe instead of it being inside.
Oh, definitely. I think that it has a lot to do with like not acknowledging that, you know, we are the all, you know, like we are in the universe, but we are the universe. Like, how is there something in here and something out there? There isn't. There's just the all, you know. And the more you can let yourself melt into the all, the more powerful you become.
Exactly. And that just takes me back to, you know, the gravity hug. That
The
gravity
gravity
hug, that's
hug.
being one with the all, just being like, yeah, I am the love of the universe.
Right?
And yeah, totally. And, you know, same with moon magic too. It's being like, you know, I am one with the natural laws. I'm one with, you know, the natural forces and the natural flow, right? It's like you're tuning back in to that, I think too, very natural sense of timing. But what really occurred to me too, when you first said that it's like its own time schedule. Well, you know, I read somewhere recently that the time schedule was, you know, that astrology even was changed to being sun centric rather than moon centric, because all over Rome there were really all these really inconsistent calendars, and like the Roman soldiers couldn't, you know, show up at different places, or like resources in Rome couldn't show up in different places because everyone had different calendars, so they could never figure out where to go. And so Julius Caesar, like I'm pretty sure it was Caesar, was like, we need a consistent schedule. And then he found out that the Egyptians had been using a sun schedule. And the Egyptians were like, well, this, you know, there's the sun goes around 365 days and a quarter, and then you just need to add the extra day. And that was the start of the sun calendar. So my point is, like, there, to me, there's something, and I thought that was just an interesting story. It's not bad necessarily, but I think there is almost something, let's be super honest here, like a literal, like, patriarchal perhaps, or like empire based about a sun calendar versus a moon calendar.
Oh yeah, definitely. I
Yeah.
think that it's very I do think that, you know, and then like, you know, something that Izzy Spencer talks about, the lady who I learned moon work from, she talks about setting lunar intentions but solar goals. And that's something that's, you know, like, you know, you can live both. I don't. I tend to just live by the moon, but you can. So like the solar goals are more like, less feeling based and more like, goal oriented, like a goal, so like, and it is interesting to pair the both. I have before, but nothing's really come of it. So I stopped. And that's another thing that I feel like we're going to, talk about a lot in this podcast is like, what doesn't work.
Oh yeah, definitely. There's plenty that doesn't work.
Right.
Also, I mean, a lot of it also is like what doesn't work for you. It's like, yeah, honestly,
true, yeah.
if you don't enjoy it, then I'm like, if I don't enjoy something or if it doesn't give me instant results, I'm like, well, whatever. And by the way, that applies for personal development, not for other skills. Like,
for
other
sure.
skills like do take time, but I think for me with personal development, honestly, if I don't enjoy it or if it doesn't give me results, and I mean like by results, I don't necessarily mean external results, but I mean instant internal results, I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't really care. Like I'm just like, boop, done. Like
Right?
I kind of need that instant internal, honestly, that instant internal relief in order to do a personal development practice. Because the thing is, there's so many out there that you might as well give you the one that makes you feel the best, the fastest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always like to say that, like with law of attraction and like I think in magic in general, like it works for everyone, but you have to find your key. Like you have to find the key that works for you. And it's not going to be the same for everyone. So just try everything and you'll find your key eventually, for sure.
Exactly. Well, that's something with personal development too. That's like, well, or with moon magic, it's like, obviously I tried moon magic and I did it because I saw it working so well for you. And I was like, okay, well, I can see moon magic works well for Sarah. Sarah's gotten a lot of really amazing results. Maybe it'll work for me. And, obviously if it didn't work for me, I would have been like, that's fine. I can just do something else to create that result.
Yeah.
And at the same time though, it actually did work for me. And that's how it's been for a lot of personal development. You see someone else using it, they're getting great results. You're like, okay, I'm going to try it. I think some people make a mistake though, is that they keep doing it. Like I've seen people do stuff for like months or years that clearly isn't working for them. And I'm like, why are you still doing that? Honestly, just move on, just do something differently. But, whereas with Sarah's moon magic, I have to say for me, it worked the first time I tried it. So I was like, this is obviously a practice. I'm now saying, as I'm saying this out loud though, like that was 2 months ago and I haven't done it again. So I'm like, wait a minute, why haven't I done it again? Okay, I'm going to do it again.
The new moon is upon us soon. I don't know when we're going to actually publish it, but as of when we're recording it, the new moon is tomorrow.
Okay, it's like time to get started. Yeah. Okay, well, is there anything else you'd like to say about moon magic right now, Sarah, other than try it, you might get great results?
Yeah, try it, you might get great results. And I want to share with you guys my gentle reminders checklist, which I feel like is very useful, not only in any kind of intention setting and in any kind of like spell work, really. Like, I just think it's like a cute set of rules to like gentle rules. Like you don't have to follow it, but maybe it could be cute. So this is my gentle reminders checklist for setting an intention or for like wording your intention. Does it include a high vibe feeling? Pick the yummiest feeling you can. Like that's why I love looking up feeling words in the thesaurus, because you just want those yummy feelings. It makes it better. It also makes it like feel really good, which will make you want to keep doing it. Is it rooted in your body? Like a lot of times when I set an intention, I like to mention specific parts of my body, like radiating from my heart or like rippling in my solar plexus. You don't have to, but sometimes, quite often, I feel like if it's rooted in the body, it really helps. At the very least, like use all of your atoms to bring that manifestation in. Is it all about you? For example, instead of making John fall in love with you, try being open and ready for love. That kind of also has to do with like, not wanting to step on anyone else's sovereignty, which is something that is, you can, but should you?
Well, and is John the best guy for you anyway?
Right,
Maybe, but
exactly.
maybe not.
Maybe there's somebody way better.
Exactly.
And so if you're just open and ready for love, then you'll see that guy. Whereas before you were just like, what about John? You know? Is it about gaining and not releasing? For example, feeling safe versus releasing fear. They accomplish the same thing, but feeling safe feels a lot better than releasing fear. And the full moon is all about releasing. So like, you don't have to make the whole moon cycle about releasing, like, just like, you know, save it for the full moon.
You know, I have to say, when you said that, like, and I felt into it for a moment, I was like, okay, feeling safe. And then I was like, okay, releasing fear. It's like releasing fear feels like it leaves a vacuum. And then the vacuum for that is feeling safe. So it's like, why not just go straight into feeling safe? And feeling safe feels so like fulfilling and expansive.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And it's all about picking those good feelings as opposed to, you know, it just makes it easier to do it every day. Like, you maybe won't do it every day if you're releasing fear, but if you're feeling safe, you will.
That's what you want to feel anyway. Yeah.
Yeah. And does it have one main focus and not attempting to do too much? For example, is your intention, I feel accomplished as I find a new job, move to a new house, and start eating healthy? That's too much. Pick one. There's always another moon cycle. And that is my gentle reminders checklist.
Wow, those were also amazing. I mean, yes, too, the pick one. I think that is something too. It's like, you know, there's so many possibilities and potentialities, and you can like see that, like something with moon magic, you're like, I could change everything in my life, or like, you know, I could like create so many things, and that's totally true. But it's like, you know, one thing this month. But then the amazing thing is like when you do one thing, it tends to support you in creating other things. That's
Oh, definitely.
what I have to say, that's one of the secret keys that we wanted to share with you. It's like, if you can just focus on one thing, if it's like making more money or making or bringing more love into your life, just one thing, you'll find that that one thing supports you and blooms and helps you in creating all the other things you want. It's like a rising tide lifts all boats, even within your own life.
Oh, absolutely. And it's all those intentions from past months that continue to work throughout your life. So, you know, you're maybe focusing on one thing right now, but that like home intention you sent 3 months ago is still flowing through your life, even though you're focusing on the wealth this month, that kind of thing.
Yes, that's such a good point. Well, I'm sure I found as well. Like sometimes when you take your focus off something and put it on something else, that other
That's when it happens.
that's when it happens, exactly. That's when the first thing just like whoosh comes right into your life. Yep.
Yeah. It's like
Yep.
it's like my cat, she doesn't like being watched eating, but like she loves the food, you know, like, so you just have to like look away and she's going to be right there.
I actually watched such a good documentary recently about cats called Inside the Mind of a Cat on Netflix. Oh my
Ooh.
God, it was so good. Like it made me, and I swear to God, it really did change how I see my cats. It included a lot of scientific terms around it. The biggest takeaway was that when cats have their tails up, they're happy. I know. And my cats are happy like all the time. So I was like, yes, succeeded as a cat caretaker. Anyway, that just like, so yeah, looking away too. Cats love when you look away, you know, when you don't look directly at them. So
Oh, definitely.
you know, so that's the thing. If your desires feel as hard to catch as a cat, which I tried to catch a cat to go to the vet, to not get out the door, to take their medicine, just look away for a moment. Let the cat.
Definitely.
Mhm. So yes, moon magic. Yes, we highly recommend checking that out. It's again, Sarah has so much experience, as maybe you can tell, and you know, her journal is just awesome. Her journals are awesome in general. She actually has a ton of them. And yes, we hope you check it out, that you enjoy the moon magic, and that you continue to manifest your own intentions in every way and through your own natural timing.
Oh, definitely. And I am so glad that we are doing this podcast together. I think that we're going to bring a lot of magic into a lot of people's lives, and I'm so excited about that.
Yeah, I'm so excited too. I mean, this is like, you know what I have to say, this is actually fulfilling one of my dreams. I've been talking about for months how much because I really do, like, I've been doing personal development for multiple years, and I also really, it hasn't been like, it hasn't been like a one-off thing or something I do on the side. It's something I'm like deeply, profoundly obsessed with, and that I've done over and over again. I've done hours a day for years. And even now, when I've actually, like, I've created so many wonderful things. So I'm like, I tell people, like, oh, I'm doing less personal development. If I'm being really honest, I still do it every day. And I'll still, I do still sometimes do, like, even the other day I did like hours, and it didn't even feel like I did like 3 hours or something of personal development, and didn't even feel like it. It was crazy because I just love it so much. And I do feel like I do have this knowledge to share that I want in the hands of other people, that I like really want other people to know, because it really could change their lives. But I'm like, how do I disseminate it? And this is the way, I think, like, this is a great way to get it into the hands of people who need it.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it's going to be really awesome.
Yay. Okay, well, thank you all so much for listening. Yes, we'll be back with more episodes, and I'm Anna.
And I'm Sarah.
And this is Metaphysical Confidential. Thank you again. Bye, everybody.
Bye.